Hello friends and fellow gamers, MKxJUMP here, and this week we have a brand new Transcendence hero, Lord of Death Azrael. So we're going to be checking out the big fancy event for him, talking you through what's good and what's not, and how you can get the best rewards this event, either as a free-to-play player or as a spender. Before we do though, I want to give a shout out to some new Patreons that have decided to back me this week. So a huge shout out goes to Ace Wolf, John Young, Stephen Crane, and Double V8. So thank you so much for your support, and if you want to be like them and support my channel here and potentially get account reviews in return by joining us through Discord on Tuesdays, you can find a link up there in the top corner of the screen. Anyway, enough of that, let's go check out this week's event for Idle Heroes. So, what we have this week is a Heroic Summons event. So, we get 3 Heroic Summon Scrolls every day and 150 gems. Much to people's disappointment, Sky Labyrinth has been skipped, so many people were expecting it was going to be next week. So actually, I'm going to start by looking at next week's event. It isn't. Unfortunately, it's going to be Imp's Adventure, which means the Mid-Autumn Festival is probably going to be a big awakening who's got the biggest ding-dong event of N, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. Shelter Mission looks okay, but the heroes aren't that inspiring, apart from a Drake, which will be pretty good for most people that haven't already got one. If you do already have one, then I guess there's a See Who, because you're a late-game player, that might be useful, but other than that, these heroes are pretty uninspired. But they are the newer ones that haven't been that great, but they've got to be put in Shelter at some point, right? Either way, that's next week. Doesn't look that fun, but hey, could be amazing. Depends on what they do for Mid-Autumn. But yeah, I'll let you be the judge of whether you think it's going to be a big ding-dong event. Enough of that, let's go check out this week's event. So we have Palace of Eternity, where you can go ahead and swap any of the following 5 heroes for a copy of whatever hero you choose. So the big thing with this event is if you go into the Summon Circle, press the plus button, which I'm currently in the way of, you can go ahead and choose any 5-star hero in the game. By choosing this hero, there'll be your reward for Heroic Summons and for various other things as well. So in the Hero Lottery, if you get a copy of that hero, you'll get 4-star armor. So that's pretty good. There'll also be, as I said, the hero you can swap for by swapping any of these 5 heroes. A lot of people have been discussing which ones are worth swapping. I like Freya, she's really cool. Eos and Mockman are dark and light heroes, so I don't really like swapping those. Azrael is the new Transcendence hero, so probably not worth getting rid of. So I guess Holmes Young is the last one, really? And that's weird, because Holmes Young's a really good hero, but once you've got the 9 copies you need, totally makes sense that swapping him ain't that bad. Unless, of course, you want Star Alchemist Holmes Young. It's a little difficult when all of these are transcended as to whether you should be swapping them, but maybe just don't swap them. That could also be the advice. If you want to know how to get some of the Palace of Eternity crystals, because you will need 10 each time you want to swap, you can get them by doing summons. So every 400 summons you do will get you 5 of the crystals, but of course, if you go to the value packages and buy the $100 package, you'll get a key. That key will unlock the lower level, which means you get 15 additional of the crystals each time you do 400 summons, and to unlock each stage you have to buy a new key every time. So for the first 400 you need 1 key, for the second you need another key, etc, etc. So yeah, you have to buy a lot of value packages. You're going to need Starry Gems to max that out as well, but hey, if that's something you want to do, go ahead. You'll get a lot of scrolls for that as well, but not really my immediate recommendation. As I've said already, the Hero Lottery is a way that you can get 4-star armor. Something people that don't want to go in this event will probably be recommended to do is to look at your bag and think, who do you have a lot of copies of? I have 800 shards for Eloise, which is an equivalent of 16 copies. If I went ahead and made Eloise my main hero in here, I could go ahead and pull out those 16 copies, and that would give me 16 sets of 4-star armor. So if you're not using your Heroic Summons this event, that is one little trick you can do. Look for a hero you've got loads of copies of, pull them all out, and get yourself a ton of armor. Nice little help. There we've got the summon prizes as well. Basically, for the amount of heroic summons you do, you're going to get additional rewards. 50, 100, and 200 are going to get you the usual Prophet Orbs and Scrolls, and finally for 200 you'll get a Gustin Shard as well. For 300 you'll get Prophet Orbs, Soul Symbols, which will help you fix your account, and Cause of Transcendence as well, which is really nice. 400 will get you a copy of the hero you choose, and finally 500 will get you a core and 15 relics. You can go around this up to 4 times, so that's 2,000 heroic summon scrolls you'll need for a max complete, although I strongly recommend you don't do that, because as you'll see, you don't actually need to do that many to complete this event. The Hero Exchange event, as well as the final thing as part of the main stuff, and that's going to be an Eos for 5,000 Altar Stones and a Vesa for the humble price of only 3,000. So yeah, nice to see that we've got some Transcendence heroes in here. Good job, DH Games. And that is that. So let's go ahead and look at the special stuff, which is called the Advent of Endgame. Is this an illusion? The devs are planning on shutting down the game? Probably not. It's just a play on the fact that I guess one of his skills for the new hero is called like Advent of Death or something like that. So it kind of makes sense, right? If you go take a look at Lord of Fear or Lord of Death, Azrael's ability, it's called Advent of Doom. So it's the Advent thing. We'll be talking about him a little bit towards the end, but in more depth, I will discuss him in a future video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss that content. Anyway, let's talk through what you have. So throughout this event, you're going to be able to collect these things called Hell-Gazing Stones. Now, Hell-Gazing Stones, if you get 25 of them, will let you summon a 5-star hero from here, which is a chance to get pretty much any 5-star hero in the game, including all the rubbish ones, but hey, you might get something good. Who knows? So how do we get these things? Well, if you do 10 heroic summon scrolls, you'll get 1. Up to 150 times. So to max that out, you need to do 1,500 scrolls. So using this as a metric for how many scrolls you want to use is probably a good idea, but let's see where you can get some other ones first. Gaining 50 VIP experience points. Right, so that's every time you spend $1, you'll get one of these. So basically you can spend $700 this week and get 700 of these. That's not bad if you want to spend loads of money. Most people don't want to spend loads of money, but I know there's people out there that do. So hey, look at that. You can get yourself something nice. In addition, if you awaken a hero in the Soul Temple, you'll also get 2 of these. That's up to 10 times. You can get 20 just from doing that. And on top of that, we also have a bonus event, which every time you awaken specifically a copy of Azrael, you will get points as we've seen before, but you only need 60 of those points to get yourself a mysterious artifact. So if you happen to have 10 copies of Azrael and also 1,000 starry gems, which would be cool if you're a free-to-play player that's managed to get some contract starry gems or just a person that has that kind of stuff on their account, then awesome. You can use those 10 Azrael copies to potentially get yourself a mysterious artifact selection chest with those awakens. And on top of that, if you consider that you are going to get yourself rewards for doing those awakens, that's not that bad. So my recommendation would be try to do 10 Azrael copies and maybe whatever more you need to do to try and get the max on this event and get yourself a mysterious artifact. That's pretty good. So that's one way you can pick up an artifact this week. In addition, every time you get a 5-star hero as well, you're going to get 30 of those Hell-Gazing Stones. So if you add all that up, that's going to be 30 for doing 5 stars, 20 for doing Awakens, and you can do up to 150 for doing Heroic Summon Scrolls. So how many do you really need to do? Well, if you're aiming for a Mysterious Artifact Selection Chest, which I think a lot of early and mid-game players should probably be doing, then congratulations, you need 120 of these stones. To get them, as I said, you get 30 from here for doing 5 stars. You get 20 for doing Awakens. So bear in mind, if you're not doing Awakens, you have to subtract that. Well, that's going to get you to 50. You need a remaining 70. So you need to do 700 Heroic Summon Scrolls. If you're not doing the Awakens, though, you're going to need 900 Heroic Summon Scrolls. So this is very standard. 900 Heroic Summons will get you an artifact. Pretty normal stuff. You shouldn't be shocked by that. If you don't have 900 Heroic Summon Scrolls, don't do your Heroic Summon Scrolls. That's basically my advice. Do not go after these things. Do not go using your Heroic Summon Scrolls unless you can get an artifact. That is advice for all new and mid-game players, because for your stage of the game, artifacts are what will be defining your progress. Later game players, celebrate and rejoice. You can get some spiritual essence. You can also, if you really want to push this, get some essence sublimation chests. And these are no slouch. They've got 90,000 in, and you get 2 of them. So that's 180,000 essence sublimation. That's really freaking good. On top of that, you can get yourself 2 Core of Origin shards, which means, well done, you can go ahead and get a whole core from that too. On top of that, if you max out this entire event and buy all the things, which requires you to buy all the stuff here, do all the scrolls, spend all the money, you can actually walk away from this event with an additional 30 cores, 200 glorious relics, Core of Origin chests, so there you go, that's another Core of Origin you could have, and 300,000 spiritual essence. That's a lot of spiritual essence, but I know a lot of late game whales, big heavy spenders, are getting excited for this stuff. Should you see this as alienating to people that are free to play or budget players? Not really. What they're doing with these events, as you can hopefully tell, is they want to give you mysterious artifacts in easy and accessible ways, because that's going to help people that don't want to spend too much and aren't in super late stages, so haven't really spent much money as it is. And then people that do spend tons of money, they're also scratching their back by giving them ways that they can get all the end game stuff too. So basically there's like loads of different tiers of play going on at the moment, so don't be alienated that you can't grab this stuff. Don't feel like you need to start performing like a whale if you haven't already started doing that. It's literally just different strokes for different folks, so don't worry too much. And also at the beginning, if you only manage to get like 60 of these hell things, that's fine too. You can get yourself a 10-star light puppet. You could get yourself some Cloud Island materials, bearing in mind Master's Toolboxes are pretty good here. And also you can choose one of these. That's the thing. It's only one of the items in here. Free-to-play players might be attracted to Master's Toolboxes, though, so that's pretty nice. And then finally, Skin Selection Chest will give you the opportunity to get some Cloud Island skins, which will give you 5 free levels on something in the Cloud Island. So yeah, all in all, not that terrible. The next part is a way that you can find friends through our Discord, which you can find a link for in the description, or other community people will also be offering their accounts in service to basically be added as a friend, and then you attack in the friends list, and if that fight contains Lord of Death Azrael with one of the other Transcendence heroes listed, you'll get yourself some rewards. So if the other hero is Aspen, you'll get elite shards. If it's Eos, you'll get more elite shards. If it's Holmes Young, you'll get yourself a dark hero. If it's Freya, you'll get yourself a light hero. The most important pairing is Lord of Death Azrael and the Swordsman Mockman. If you do that, you'll get yourself 5 cores of Transcendence. If you happen to have your own Lord of Death Azrael, congratulations. If you deploy him 10 times in fights, you'll get yourself an imminent hero selection chest. And finally, if you do all of the stuff here and manage to fight with all the Transcendence heroes involved, you'll get yourself 100 glorious relics. So these rewards are pretty modest. The most important one is finding someone with Lord of Death Azrael and Mockman, because 5 cores of Transcendence is pretty cool. Missing out on the other stuff, I wouldn't really care too much, although if you can get the light and dark stuff, that can help you in Heroic Miracle if you're an early player. There will be people in the community who you can add as a friend that are offering themselves out in service for you to attack and get these rewards for free, so do look for those people. We've already spoken about this. If you awaken Azrael, you can get yourself some cool rewards. So there's chests here with stuff in, a Glory Epic Hero chest, and finally, of course, the Mysterious Artifact Selection chest. And the last thing here is a relay package, which comes to the grand total of $93 if you were going to buy out this entire thing. But it's got some crazy stuff in here. We got gems, we got scrolls, we got more scrolls and cores. We have more gems and more scrolls, more gems and more scrolls. So we're getting loads of value in gems and scrolls. On top of that, you've got a ton of cores of Transcendence coming in here, like 1,500 gems there too, with the Skin Shard pack. And even more cores. So like we've seen tons of cores so far. That's like 5, 12, so that's 17 at that point. If you add these 3 here, that's 20. Nuts. You're getting so many cores. At the end here, there's another 15 cores as well. And there's 10 more there. So you're getting like 45 cores for the price of what would normally get you only like 30. So you're getting a lot of cores, load of gems, load of heroic summon scrolls. The big thing here, if you get to this point, this is getting you 30,000 artifact essence, which is enough to make a splendid artifact. So that's really appealing. I might grab that on the VIP series, to be fair, because there's just tons of stuff here that's going to help you move forwards. And it means we can probably pick up Halora or whatever next Transcendence hero I choose to go with this week, which should be a pretty good boon for the VIP series. It's about time we spent a bit of money on there and pushed ourselves forwards. So yeah, all in all, I'm seeing some really good stuff for this week. It's a very standard Transcendence event. There's nothing out of the ordinary. There's just lots of ways that different people can get rewards depending on your tier of play. And this is really typical for what you'd expect when we get ourselves a new Transcendence hero. People are a little disappointed that next week isn't going to be Sky Labyrinth, but that's just the way it goes. It's going to be Imp's Adventure, so I guess we could be a little disappointed by that, but hey, you know, sometimes it happens, and you just got to prepare yourself for whatever DH Games throws at us, and a lack of Sky Labyrinth is one of those things. So yeah, just got to get over it and deal with it, I think. But hey ho, there you go. Final thing to talk about, of course, is the fact that Azrael has got his new Transcendence form. This form is bonkers, and I think some key things of note before we go into any major details in the next video is he can resurrect, which is really cool. He comes back with 100% of energy and 100% of HP, so that's really cool that he gets his active skill from this. And his attacks are doing a lot of damage with multiple components. It's going to hurt him and then hurt the opponent's back. It's going to do damage that ignores armor. And if you just look at his tree, some of the stuff he gets here is ridiculous. If an enemy dies, he's going to give all allies 10% additional attack. There's no cap on that for rounds. When he's in his Phantom form, which we'll talk about in the next video, which is something when he's dead, he's going to give a random ally 50 energy as well at the end of rounds. It's just nuts. Look, highest attack enemy gets debuffed. There's tons of debuffs, tons of buffs, like tons of damage. Like, he's a hero that's really, really interactive. The only issue is, though, he does hit himself and he does want to die, so he is going to be a hero that you don't consider unless you've got a well-established team to put him in. So whether he could be recommended maybe as a first Transcendence hero to go alongside an established Eloise team, that might work. Whether it's going to be better than Vesa, we don't know. It remains to be seen. People are going to have to kind of test him in multiple different ways. The problem right now with the game and testing a hero like this is there are so many different tiers of play, as I've mentioned in the video today. Late game players will show you one thing where he's like fully sublimed, Tree of Origin level 5, but for most people that's not realistic or attainable and isn't going to help you at all in your account, because by the time you get to that phase, we'll have a million Transcendence heroes, or maybe the game has been exploded, who knows, or maybe the world will end. That's probably most likely, considering how long it takes you to get some stuff. You'll probably be dead before you even get yourself a Tree of Origin 5 hero as a free-to-play player. Yeah. Just to think about that one. And also his core's pretty cool. It gives you a buff when allies die called Distant Blessing, which increases your holy damage, control immunity, and your speed. So he's throwing around speed buffs like his name's Rogan, and it's nuts. He also buffs his own speed with some of his stuff. It's just a crazy hero. We'll talk more about him tomorrow. But yeah, crazy stuff. Hit that subscribe button for more information about him, and hopefully you find this event interesting. There's lots of different ways you can come in at different points. Maybe you want to spend some money. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're going to use a load of scrolls. Maybe you're not. Do bear in mind, though, final word of warning, we do have holiday season coming up. So we've got Black Friday, Halloween, Christmas, Chinese New Year, some big Heroic Summon events that will be arriving very soon, which are opportunities for you at home to get some really, really crazy rewards. And it's likely that they will be Heroic Summon events as well. So using all your scrolls now may be unwise, but of course you do know you can get an artifact from this event, and potentially 2 if you've got the Starry Gems to go ahead and awaken all those Azrael copies. So it might hurt your progress to hold back and wait for that, or maybe you're prepared. Maybe you've got so many scrolls that you can go after both. Just do consider what's coming up and the rewards that may follow. These events are typically very, very good, and we are fast approaching probably one of the best times to play Idle Heroes. So yeah, get ready, folks. Things will move forwards. Content's going to get exciting. Either way, see you next time, folks. Happy idling.